Hey, it's Mariah and Ty, and today we're chatting with Colin Mochrie and Asad Mecci of HYPROV, but it's a little different, isn't it, Mariah?
Yeah, we got him on the Zoom,
Our first
so
Zoom.
it's pretty cool. Welcome to the pod. Hit it, Logan.
See you in the Zoomiverse.
Okay.
It's After Hours with Mariah and Ty.
Your weekly download of their extracurricular activities. Enjoy.
This week on After Hours with Mariah and Ty.
To be clear, Mariah, we are not doing any therapy on stage.
This is what improv's all about.
Yeah,
you know, those
right?
improv myths.
I did see you had a gentleman in St. John's do a cartwheel, so if it's anything like that, I'm like, damn.
All right. So, guys, when we usually kick off our podcast, Mariah and I will have a local beer. If you were in person, we would give you one. But today it's from Balzac. It's the Blonde Ale.
Yeah, I hope you don't think we're a bunch of booze bags, but we do usually do this after hour show, so it's completely sanctioned. We like to have a beverage to relax. Next time, you guys have to come in person. Join us for one.
Yeah, we weren't given the memo.
It's okay. Where are you guys both calling in from right now? Where are you guys located right now?
We're in St. John,
Oh,
New
you're in
Brunswick.
St. John. Okay. Oh, that's not so
Yeah.
bad. I guess that was my first question because I did see that you guys just kicked off. St. John was your first stop on your Canadian leg of the tour, which congrats on the most unique improv hypnotist joining kind of thing. It's absolutely incredible. I sat this morning on your Instagram and I just watched reel after reel of all these interesting situations that you've had. Colin, like this has got to be a first for you to do this type of hybrid entertainment, right?
Yeah, it's pretty. I don't even know what the word is, but it's that. It's when I'm working with the Who's Line guys or any other improviser, even though we're making everything up, we sort of have the same mindset. We know, okay, maybe this could lead to this where we can end the scene. With these people, do not have that. They just, all they have is present time. There is no future for them. So they're just adding information. And that makes it fun for Asad and I because we are constantly taken by surprise.
Yeah, I can imagine. Assad, what's it like for you having somebody obviously as quick-witted as Colin on the stage next to you? Does it sharpen up your comedic skills? I guess it's a little bit of a change up from doing hypnosis strictly.
I'm hopeless, Mariah. I am absolutely hopeless. But here's the thing, right? It's all about saving your butt. So it's great to have a ringer on stage like the great Colin Mochrie from Whose Line Is It Anyway? So everything on stage, even if we have, and sometimes we call them duds affectionately, which is people who are hypnotized on stage that don't necessarily give us the material that we need, the comedic material that we need. Colin always makes it funny.
I think that's part of the art of it, right? You do a little improv time.
Oh, don't say that in front of Colin. It's not even the same level.
He's embarrassed now, you guys. Sorry, I just hung him out to dry. We're both huge fans. So,
my question right off the hop is, Colin, did you always believe in hypnotherapy before you started doing this? Were you a believer, and maybe now you've come around?
I think I was just woefully undereducated about what it was. All my hypnosis facts came from movies and television, which surprise had everything wrong. Assad actually hypnotized me so I could see what it was like. And, you're not, the people we hypnotize, they're aware the entire time. It's not like they go to some limbo land, but they're aware, they hear everything that we're saying. It's just they become more receptive. So the part of the brain that says, you're not going to be able to do this, you're not going to be funny, you're going to embarrass yourself, that's gone. So they just become pure improvisers in the sense of the word and just react to everything Asad and I say.
what a confidence builder. I was saying to Ty off the air today, we were planning about what we wanted to talk to you guys about. And I was like, holy shit, man, if I could just get somebody to get me on better credit card spending habits.
I was
you
saying
know,
like health and fitness. Like you're just like,
Oh, because I
"Ooh."
think there's like one aspect of hypnosis where it's like there is a comedic aspect. I remember when I was a kid, one of my parents' friends had like a 50th birthday party. It was a big shebang, and they had somebody come and do hypnosis on stage, and my jaw was on the floor. I was 12. I'll never forget just how wild and how interesting these people had changed. And I thought there's got to be the entertainment side, but on top of that, also just, maybe people are using this for health conscious goals or, to break bad habits or things like that. Do you come across that a little bit in your line of work, Asad?
Yeah, so hypnosis is used for smoking cessation and weight loss and stress management and peak performance for athletes. And there's been a lot of research around pain management and pain control. So there definitely is a clinical aspect around hypnosis and hypnotherapy. The stuff that we do on stage, all wacky, all weird, all wild. It's a lot of fun. The fascinating part is the part of the brain that deals with self-reflection becomes disconnected when somebody's hypnotized. So they no longer reflect on their behavior. They just carry out my suggestions without hesitation and without question, which makes for really seamless, great improv. First time improvisers, they'll play to the audience, they'll look nervous, they'll use filler words, but these people, they just jump into the scene and they're fully committed.
Wow. Yeah, I imagine that once you get them up there, it just starts to take flight. If you are just listening to this podcast recording, we are chatting with Colin Mochrie and Asad Mecci. They are doing the HYPROV show here in Calgary at the end of the month here in November. So I imagine the show works like this. Asad, you probably bring people up on stage, you get them under for a couple of minutes, and then Colin comes up, and then the improv ensues. Do you ever have to worry about like someone falling off stage if they're that deep under? Like, is there any blunders? Like, what's some of the stuff you've had to kind of traverse against?
I know you're dying to jump in here, Colin.
I am. The only person that's ever fallen off the stage is Asad.
Oh my God, stop. Really? Okay. Are you okay? Like, I don't want to laugh, but are you okay? I want to make
I
sure.
was fine afterwards. I was shocked at the time, but no mishaps on stage except for the hypnotist falling off the stage.
Jesus.
That being said, no, we've never had any mishaps with the volunteers on stage. The show is fast paced, it's action packed, it's high energy. It is funny to watch Colin improvise with these random people from the audience. We don't use plants. We've never met any of these people before. They're just random volunteers from the audience who come up every night, and we make an instant improv troupe with them. It happens just that one night, and if you get a chance to see it, it's pretty magical.
Do you find people are itching to run up on stage for this one? Because I feel I would actually like to sit and watch it just as much as I'd like to be a part of it. Like, who wouldn't want to be hypnotized for one? But two, you also want to see these people perform improv, so you're kind of getting a golden ticket either way.
We get Rush, beat the back with the boomstick.
Yeah, every night it amazes me because I would think, no, I would never in a million years. And every night as I'm off stage, as I'm watching Asad putting people under, I still go, how is this even happening? How is this possible? I gotta say he's pretty good. I mean, he's not very good with direction on stage, where the end of it is. But yes, he's a master at what he does.
Did this fall just happen last night or something? Like, what did?
Yeah.
No, it happened a while ago.
It was actually about a month before we started Vegas. So we were going to do a 6-month residency at Harrah's, and we had raised this capital to put on the show. And, all the investors gave me a call like, is this show going to happen? Are you okay? Is everything all right? We ended up doing the show, and it ended up being a great success. And, I have to say, I never expected this show to take on a life of its own. We've now performed 150 cities across North America. We have done residency off Broadway in New York to critical acclaim. We were covered by the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, Time Out, New Yorker. And then as well, we ended up with 6 months at Harrah's, where Forbes called us crazy comedy.
Wow. Okay. Obviously measuring your guys' success, because like I said, this is very unique. I feel like I haven't seen like a duo in both disciplines of your entertainment come together. And I gotta say, like, you must, Colin, and for you too, Asad, are you kind of in awe? Like the first couple shows you did, I know it's probably takes a little while to get into the groove of what you're doing, but are you still just like a spectator of each other's entertainment forms? Like, are you a fan? I think I would be distracted if I was one or the other.
I mean, the first show we did, we walked on stage not knowing if it was going to work. It's not a show you can rehearse, so we had to have incredible faith in each other. And I think that's paid off over the years. Every night, it just amazes me what he can do. It just, and Assad is working heavily throughout this entire show because, he does the original induction, but he's also watching them all through the show because you go in and out of trance throughout the show. So he's working fairly hard. I'm just making up crap. I got the easy part.
Colin is
Nice.
underselling sales. All
Yeah.
right. He is a master at comedy, a master improviser. It's amazing. Every night I watch these individuals who come up on stage, they paint him into a corner. I'm thinking to myself, how's he going to get out of this one? And he always makes it funny. It is fantastic to watch. I always say I've got a front row seat to the best comedy in the world because I get to see Colin Mochrie from Whose Line Is It Anyway improvising with random people on stage while they are hypnotized.
So, aside from this improv, Asad, what other venues have you crossed over with your hypnosis background? That's what I want to know because I feel like it probably unlocks more avenues than people might think.
So I work with athletes in the area of peak performance. I created an audio program with Brian Orser to help figure skaters achieve peak performance. And we launched it around 2013. Uzuro Hanyo ended up endorsing the app. He won 2 gold medals. And then Javier Fernandez as well. He's a world champion. He endorsed the app, used the app. And it's all around visualization and imagining the perfect knee bend, if it's basketball, the perfect jump shot. So running that imagery through your mind, and what happens is there's evidence that shows that hypnosis helps with timing, vigilance, motor coordination. Hypnosis actually helps with sleep quality as well. So a lot of athletes are keyed up before going out and performing, and they just by listening to the audio program, it helps them relax prior to going to sleep and helps with sleep quality.
And have you been passing that on to Colin as you guys tour? Like, Colin, you've been getting the best sleeps of your career?
All I've done is fallen off the stage 5 times.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm getting the right. No, I sleep very well on this tour. We work hard.
Oh man, Colin, I want to say I just took a peep at your Instagram and it looks like you celebrated 35 years of marriage with your wife. That's pretty exciting. Congratulations. Has your wife come out to a few of the shows? Does she ever does she, or is she sick of seeing what you do? I mean,
Well, there is that too. Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, the first show she came to, she started to fall under. She was in the audience. She's incredibly susceptible. It's how I got her. But yeah, she's a fan of the show. I think she's seen it everywhere we've gone, on
Aw.
Broadway and in Vegas. And I mean, yeah, she came to see the show, but she was also in New York and Vegas. So
Yeah.
there were other things going on.
She's having fun. That's pretty
Yeah.
that's pretty exciting. And I know I mean, speaking with your former colleagues of the fellows you've had a chance to work with throughout Whose Line, I'm curious as to how it works doing improv with random strangers coming up. I mean, when you're working with the same gentleman that you had this relationship to build, you kind of understand their comedic style. Do you feel like you're ever just kind of throwing bones out to people who are coming up on stage, or do you run across some people that are just naturally funny? Like, do you ever get some wannabe comedians out there?
Every night we find a superstar, and I mean, what I love about all our hypnotized people are, unlike the Whose Line guys, their eyes are alive, filled with hope. Um, so that's good. Yeah, they're not all necessarily funny, or they may be funny, but it may be hidden. We've had people who have been our superstar. Then after they come out, they're very quiet and unassuming. Their family is just agog at what they have just seen. There was one woman who I'll always remember. She was a young woman. She came up. She was our star. After the show, we were talking to her. She said, I have crippling social anxiety. I have no idea why I came up on stage. That was the best hour of my life. I've never felt more in charge. And I felt secure. And so she was going out to find improv troops and take some classes. And So that was lovely that happened.
Oh, that's going to be very rewarding for both of you to see that you're not just, I'm sure you hope that you get a couple laughs out of people and enrich them that way. But that's, like you said, a story you'll never forget when somebody comes back and said, hey, you changed a part of me for the better, which is incredible. I imagine that's maybe a little bit of why you both got into doing what you do,
To be clear, Mariah, we are not doing any therapy on stage. Just so the show is just a comedy show. That being said,
seems
that
like
was
you're
a lot of people
providing
think that-
more.
a lot of people think that hypnosis is magic or there's some kind of trickery involved. The truth is that you're naturally going in and out of trance states all day long. You go in and out of a trance state 4 times an hour, daydreaming. Another example would be you watch a scary movie, you get so caught up in what you're watching that you move to an emotional response. So you jump in your chair, or you watch a tear jerker and you start to bawl your eyes out, right? Logically, you know what you're watching on the big screen is not real, but for that moment in time, it feels really real. That's a hypnotic trance state. So, and it perfectly describes what occurs when people are hypnotized on stage. For that moment in time, they fully immerse themselves in the hypnosis and they experience all these incredible experiences on stage.
Well, my co-host here, she does like cry watching a movie trailer, stuff like that. So does that mean she'd be easily susceptible, you think?
Yeah, so people ask me all the time, hey, what makes a really good hypnotic subject? So people who are able to immerse fully in an experience and dissociate from their surroundings, they're the best subjects. Take 2 people who watch watch a tearjerker. One person says, "I know the acting's pretty bad here. I'm not really that impressed," and then the other person's sobbing. So you take the person who's sobbing; they're the ones who are able to immerse themselves fully. They're going to be good subjects.
Oh, interesting. I find that's probably my daily issue at work. I'm in and
On
out
the
of
TikToks.
Oh no, I found I've had a real interest in reading fantasy novels again because I don't know what happened. I was a big reader in high school. Fast forward 10, 12 years later, and now I'm just immersed in these fantasy novels, and it just reminds me of what you say. It's a little dream world you escape to, a little distraction from life. But that's very interesting to hear because I am always curious about what makes people susceptible. I'm curious if you guys wanted to talk about some myths that should be dispelled about. I'm sure people have their stereotypes of going into the show. This is what hypnosis is about. This isn't what it is.
This is what improv's all about.
Yeah,
those
right?
improv myths.
Yeah, we got 2 art forms that people don't really believe in, and we made them come to one place so we can save some time.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
So go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think for Asad, more of the pressure is on you, I think, to show. And I hope by the end of the show, people see what hypnosis is or dispel any of the notions that they had.
So some of the myths are that you can be hypnotized against your own will. You won't do anything against your morals, ethics, or cultural values when you're hypnotized. Another big myth is that you can get stuck in hypnosis. You can't. You're naturally cycling in and out of these trance states all the time. And then, a big one is that the person is asleep, so that they're completely unconscious. They're physiologically, they look asleep, so their bodies are very much relaxed, but they are aware of what's going on. They hear the sound of my voice. They are fully aware when I'm giving them the suggestions. They're just bodies are relaxed at the time. So I kind of think that those are pretty much the major misconceptions around hypnosis. And then again, hypnosis is used for painless dentistry, painless surgery. In Jackson Memorial Hospital, South Florida's largest hospital, they've done painless hand surgeries with hypnosis as the only anesthetic. So just imagine that you talk to a psychologist for 5 minutes, they give you a suggestion that your hand is numb or in a bucket of cold ice water, and your hand is numb. They perform major surgery on you and you don't feel a thing. And the only anesthetic that was used was a spoken word. It's absolutely fascinating.
Wow.
Also, one other thing. At no point during our show do we make someone cluck like a chicken.
You're like, you won't
People
get that
always
here.
say, "Oh, are you going to make them cluck like a chicken?" It's like, no, this is highbrow
Bark like a
entertainment.
dog. bark like a dog and cluck like a chicken.
Yeah.
So these are the tropes that we avoid. We
Jeez.
ensure that everybody is part of this improv troupe and that we treat them with respect and we have a good time. It's good, clean fun.
Each improv troupe has their favorite games. What have been some of the standouts there, Colin?
I love games where I'm really outside of my comfort zone. So, um, one where I'm right outside of my comfort zone is I do a duet with one of them.
Oh,
I Yeah,
amazing.
that's the right sound to make. Um, it's it's really every night. It's like, oh, okay, no, I'm going to do this. And we have an incredible musician with us, John Hilson, who has worked in many improv troupes in the States. And yeah, we do a song, and every night it seems to go well, which is shocking. But I love that. And we have, from the very first show to where we are now, it's been, I always say it's sort of like our first show was like Pong, and now our new show is like Mario Kart, because we found as we went along, we can give them more responsibility and put a little more onus on them, and they never disappoint. So we're always trying to find ways to make it difficult, a little more difficult for us and them, and they always rise to the occasion.
I'm curious, since you've had a few shows obviously under your belt, what the breakdown of each show is like. If you know you got kind of a formula you follow every show, or is it different to depending on what city you're in, how cohesive is the hypnosis and the improv, or is it kind of Colin, you get your section, and Asad, you get your section to perform? How does that work?
Assad, well, I come out and sort of introduce the concept. Then Assad comes out and does the induction, and then I come on, and from then on, it's the two of us working together.
Oh,
So
nice.
we have maybe 20 games right now, and we're building more. And so it's also like a living organism, because depending on the subjects, we may go, oh, you know what? Why don't we do this instead? Because I think they'll be really more susceptible to that. So it's very fluid, and what I love about it is every show is a show for that audience. No one will ever see that show ever again, all because of how we improvise, how we work together, and of course what our hypnotisers, as we call them, do.
And I mean, kudos to having a piano player to go with you throughout all that. That just adds another level, and that's another extremely crazy talent to have at your disposal. I hope do they help with the hypnosis? Does the piano get involved at all, Assad?
Oh, absolutely. He plays the music during the induction portion of the show. So there's an actual portion where I'm inducing the hypnosis and he's underscoring all of it. And it's mesmerizing. At times I'm starting to trance out myself just listening to John Hilson play his music. It's absolutely phenomenal.
Oh,
Uh,
Assad, I was just wondering, do you have like maybe something that's coming out
Some
that would
albums?
the music or
Ooh,
anything like that with anyone we might know?
Colin, you
Oh,
took
that's
my
very
question.
big release
very nice.
announcement. I like this.
So yes, so I'm releasing an album with Rufus Wainwright. Officially, the press release goes out on the 21st. But yes, we are selling our album now. So I've created an album with Rufus Wainwright. He did the induction portion, or the portion of the show where I induce hypnosis for New York. So he underscores it, uses his vocal talents and angelic voice to induce the hypnosis. And at the time in New York, I was talking over his voice, but he did the background and composed the music. We've since collaborated and created an album wherein his piece in particular, I am doing the guided imagery, and I'm talking about increasing creativity, and it's around introspection, and it's very interesting. It's called An Exploration of Hypnotic Sound. It's a bit out there, a little different, but yeah, check it out.
Wow, that's very impressive. I do want to ask both of you separately. Obviously, you've had very impressive careers, and you've probably had a chance to do many different offshoots of what your respected disciplines are. But I have to ask, if you didn't get into what you're doing, what is something else that has interested you outside of improv, comedy, hypnosis, entertainment? Is there another side of you that says, oh, you know what? I got another project after this one. I'm going to try something different.
I would be so screwed. I absolutely not. I'm not being humble. I have no other skills. I have nothing to fall back on. If this hadn't happened, I don't even know if this British show hadn't come out of nowhere and showcased the one thing I can do. I got nothing. Absolutely nothing. Maybe, nope. I wanted to be a marine biologist when I was but I can't just take that up now.
Colin, I thought you were a pretty good soccer commentator on Ted Lasso, so I think you could have a career in that.
Oh,
Well, get my sports announcing cred. Well, maybe.
How'd that come about?
you guys do your research. Wow. Ty,
I was going to say, I actually didn't
research.
connect the dots until just now. Look at this guy. He's coming out with the hot question.
Yeah, how'd that happen, Colin?
I did back when Whose Line just started. So that was like maybe 96. I was doing a comedy festival in Ireland. And it was me and Dan Castellaneta from The Simpsons, a lot of Second City people. And one of the people was George Wendt, who brought his nephew, who was Jason Sudeikis. And Jason and I kind of hit it off. And then, I asked him to join one of our shows. And of course, he was funny. And then we would just kind of bump into each other every couple of months, it seemed. He was at Second City in Vegas, and then I met him in New York. So he called me and said, hey, the last season of Ted Lasso, we're doing little Easter eggs that have sort of a nod to all the people and all the things that inspired us in our career. And do you think you and Ryan would do? And it's like, oh, yeah, I guess. Okay. So we did, and it was great. So I was in Toronto, Ryan was in LA, and Ryan, you were talking earlier about being, an old person who can't figure out technology. You have nothing on Ryan. It's a wonder. I don't think he understands shoelaces. He's just like an Amish grandfather. It took the longest part of the taping was getting him on Zoom so we could record it. But it was a great thing to do. And Jason is not only incredibly talented, but an incredibly nice guy and very supportive. So I was very thankful that happened.
I think that's very that's such a nice story. You got to be flattered. I mean, obviously, knowing him as being a little like a younger person to his career now, that's huge. That's huge. Nod to your success. So, what about?
I had to do with it.
Well, we're almost out of time, but we usually do a quick little game of the week, which we'll play right here. It's just a game of Would You Rather for you guys.
Mariah and Ty's Game of the Week.
And I have it's always something completely random. I think Mariah can even debate this with you as well. My Would You Rather question for you three, I guess, would be, would you rather have to jump 3 feet in the air every time you say hello, or would you rather give a long monologue every time you had to say goodbye? And the monologue should be heartfelt. I should include that as well.
Well, heartfelt, that really throws things.
Yeah.
First of all, with the knees I have right now, jumping 3 feet isn't happening. I would have to hire someone. So I would go for just talking. And, the thing about being heartfelt is you just have to be sincere. And once you can fake that, it's fine. I can do that.
Oh man,
Asad, what about you?
How do I follow that? I think I just jump up in the air. I think I would just get it done,
Yeah, moon boots are a thing. You could have got those, Colin. They're all right.
Wow.
Yeah. Boots.
I don't know. I was thinking that I would just, if you had to jump in the air for the rest of your life, you said it's every time you say hello.
Yeah.
I mean, that's your built-in lifetime workout plan. You don't got to do anything else. You do 3 jumps. You get a little bit of movement in.
These guys do a lot of interviews, okay? They're saying hello a bunch, so keep that in mind.
I mean, that is true. It's true.
I'd also never leave the house. That would make it a lot easier.
I like that. I like that lifestyle. Leaving the house is overrated, I was gonna say. Well, I think that was a pretty good would you rather. Ty's asked some very dumb questions to some people.
This was a bit of a softball one. I didn't want to do anything too crazy and embarrass myself in front of them.
All sorts of walks of life on our podcast. Lots of people in different careers and stuff. And sometimes you ask some things to some people where I'm like, "What the fuck are you saying?"
This is our first Zoom. This is our first Zoom one of our podcast. So
Oh, it's going very well.
we keep
Yeah.
it PG, guys. But yeah, I mean, I think that about wraps our time. We tried to keep you right to half an hour on the button, guys. So
HYPROV at the Grey Eagle here in Calgary, November 30th. I also saw on Google it was saying December 1st for some reason. Are you doing 2 shows or do they just have the dates wrong?
I wish I.
Great question.
I think we're in BC on the 1st.
okay,
Aren't
there
we?
you go.
Well, you know what? I'll get it right in the show notes. How about that?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be great.
It was an absolute pleasure to have both you gentlemen on. Huge fans, and I will say I did humbly brag to both of my brothers that I was doing this interview. They died a little inside, very jealous. So yeah, it just an absolute pleasure to have both you gentlemen on. You seem like you have really hit the gold mine with the type of show that you put together, and I personally can't wait to see it in Calgary. I've marked
Open
that on
invite
my-
to come by the studios and day of if you want, chat
Yeah.
about it. We'd love to meet you. So
Come shoot the shit if you
Oh,
want.
that'd be
gentlemen.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say that we sold out St. John's, Newfoundland. We have sold out Moncton. We've sold out Fredericton. So you better get your tickets now.
Yeah.
it's a hot ticket.
Sell out Calgary.
I did see you had a gentleman in St. John's do a cartwheel. So if it's anything like that, I'm like, damn, you never know what you're in for in these shows.
Never know what you're in for with HYPROV.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Colin and Asad, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast. And next time, if you do come by in person, we'll get you a beer to share with us.
Great. And as I say goodbye, I just want to say it's moments like this where you can connect with people and just sort of be real and just look into each other's eyes and realize that's the important thing, the connection that we can have with each other. It doesn't matter if we come from different walks of life or have different beliefs, as long as we can connect even for just half an hour, then it's all worthwhile.
Look at that. You started something. All right, gentlemen. Cheers. Thank you very much for your time. We'll let you go.
Thank you. Lovely talking to you.
Lovely talking to
Bye,
you
guys.
too. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
After Hours with Mariah and Ty.
Well, we should get what do you think of the interview? I thought that went pretty good. That chat.
No, I thought the chat was amazing.
I thought Colin and Asad were great.
I was very impressed with the humbleness of those fellas, and like I said, they just, I don't know. Some of these people, you always think about, oh, what could I say if I chat to some of these celebs, and then they're
You're
just
always
very
worried
nice.
if you Zoom with them in real life, will they be as cool as they seem on screen?
That's right.
And they
That's
were.
right.
Balzac, I give their blonde ale a nice 8 out of 10.
This is the Prairie Sunset. Apparently, when I got these today, the gentleman who owns Balzac Brewery, nice older fellow, said if you mix this with their cider, it makes the perfect fall cocktail. It's a cider and a beer mixed together. He said it's really good. Lots of people do it. So I give it a 10 out of 10. I was actually pleasantly quite surprised with the taste of this bad boy.
Well, next week we will be coming to you from One Weekend Only.
It's going to be good. Remember that we are doing a live taping of our podcast at One Weekend Only. So if you want to pop by, get caught on camera, come say hello, do it.
Bye.
You've been listening to After Hours with Mariah and Ty. Don't forget to subscribe to this podcast and have the new episode of After Hours with Mariah and Ty downloaded weekly to whatever device you use.